Hey now, what's going on? It's your man, D Brown, the OG, with the flu game OG. Kicking in today with the Straight No Chaser podcast and with my cohorts, Hoop Jogging, Joey Flosser. Fellas, what is happening? How are you on this fine Thursday evening?
All
Feeling
good,
good?
man.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
I'm out here in this
Man,
cold. Out here in as JC would say, Los Angeles. It's cold as shit right
Mm-hmm.
now.
wow, really? Like,
Oh yeah, it's
what's
cold.
what's an as if temp wise?
I think it's like 45 or some shit like that,
Oh damn,
47.
But
man,
that's the LA cold though. That's
Yeah.
that LA cold. You got to dress
LA
right when you
cold.
start the day because you get caught in that LA cold. You
Wow.
Yeah.
heard me?
Well, man, I think we got a little bit of that coming this weekend. If you believe
Mm-hmm.
the meteorologist here in Dallas, Texas. So we'll see if that holds up. But it's been springtime warm here. I think it got around 80, 81 here today. So that's crazy in early January. Joey, what's
Yep.
going on, man?
You
How
should see
you?
what I got on, man. You know.
Oh yeah,
For real.
I see you working with man. I
Oh,
like that
no
Cowboys
doubt.
gear too, brother.
Thank you, man. And shout out to my fiance hooking up with, for Christmas, man, with this
Oh
nice
man,
little
man,
threads, man.
you gotta love it. You gotta love it when the love knows what it is.
There you go.
There it is, right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
You living a good life. Joey, what's up, brother? How you living?
Oh man, I'm feeling great, man. Like you said, at some point it's gonna cool down here a little bit. But
Yeah.
man, I guess I always do my rain dance. Like today it was like 75, almost
Good.
80, right? So,
Right.
your man's had on shorts, right? Just to be ironic, because I can. You heard me. Uh, but yeah, man, fantastic to be here, man. Again, with my dudes,
No
right?
doubt.
My man's Cliff and my man's DB, man. We're in the building, yo, and it feels real good.
My man. Well, we appreciate y'all popping on. We got a lot to get to tonight, man, as we kind of go over and talk about what is now in full swing, the Cowboys offseason. And of course, Cowboys ended 2025 in very disappointing fashion with a 7-9-1 record, out of the playoffs about 2 weeks before the season ended, very unceremoniously, as we talked about all throughout the year. Left a lot of meat on the table. And so with that, as far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned, there's a lot of reaction. The Cowboys generate that kind of conversation, whether they're winning, whether they're getting hammered, and especially when they don't make the playoffs. You got the Cowboy detractors. Some call them haters. I call them detractors. A lot of fodder as to what went wrong. And the guy that doesn't disappoint in giving them that fodder is no other than the big boss himself, Jerry Jones. And Jerry Jones, as is his custom, provided some really, really, really good tidbits for the anti-Cowboy faction to jump all over. And we're gonna dive right into it. As Jerry says, budget doesn't matter. Jerry's words, not ours. Um, and I read that today, and after I stopped laughing, um, I thought about it. I was like, man, the anti-Cowboy faction is going to be all over this, and I couldn't wait to get on with my fellas to weigh in on this one. So I certainly like to get y'all's pardon me initial reaction on when you heard Jerry talking about we're going to do what we've got to do with the budget not being an option. Is he truly all in like he incorrectly put out there, or unjustifiably put out there a couple years ago, or is Jerry looking at that calendar and actually going to damn it to hell, we're going to do what we got to do so I can see another Super Bowl? Cliff, we'll start with you, man. What you think?
I react just like any other thing that Jerry Jones does, man. This is like the posturing season right now. This is when you put us all right back on that conveyor belt. We go spend our money on game tickets, on game jerseys, parking lot spots. You got to sell the fan base something. So this is just Jerry business as usual. He gonna dangle that carrot, which any salesman would do. Now let's be clear. It's a reason why the Cowboys is arguably the most successful as far as business sense franchise in the world. In the world, Craig, not just
Go
Texas, not
ahead.
just North Texas, not just northern
Pardon me.
or southern United States. The
Right.
world, Craig.
The
So
world.
yeah, this is the bombast every year you're gonna get from Jerry. Like, I'm gonna spare no expense. I
Right.
mean, because listen, good business sense is you're gonna have some type of cognition towards spending, costs, expenditures, and what have you. So
Right.
of course he's gonna always be trying to negotiate the best deal. He's not gonna just be throwing money away like paper money. Um, what was Xerox copy money for that matter. But I mean, this is just this is how he puts the bullets in the chamber, gets everybody all primed up, ready to go, ready to defend the Cowboys, for another preseason, well, off season to preseason, and get us all riled up into a nice little lather.
Right.
So we got our belief system up for next year. So no, this is just business as usual. This is Jerry as usual. Because look,
Nice.
it's two
Jerry
different
as usual.
things, two different schools of thoughts here. Would I like to see him spare no expense and ball out? As far as pocketbook, yes. But at the same time, do I want to go get value and build a competent roster we have for years to go? Yes. So it's like, as a seasoned Cowboy fan, this shit don't move me at all. This is just Jerry starting the machine up, getting it primed up, ready to go for another cycle.
Indeed. 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 Yeah, man. I love what you put out there, Clifford. But the when you said the wording was beautiful. Jerry as usual, because
Mhm.
that was worded perfectly. Jerry as usual was spot on. Um, this is classic Jerry. I mean, this is now we're going into year 37 of his ownership, and he is the eternal snake oil salesman, the eternal appearing optimist, and there was some phrasing that I want to get into after we let our man Joey weigh in on what he thought about Jerry's assertion as far as busting the budget and going all in. But I love that Jerry as usual. Joey, what you got for us, man?
I mean, again, if we didn't care as much as we do,
Mhm.
this would be not even a talking point. I mean, he loves the fact that and there's different levels of caring. You know what I'm saying? It's you have local media already in full off season mode, right? And they're trying to analyze what the guy is saying. All right. Now, look, anybody that's listened to Jerry for as long as they've listened to him knows that the guy speaks in circles a lot of times. All right. And mixes in some stuff that's, I guess, kind of explosive, if you will, because people will read into it.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Again,
Hey, fellas, can you hear me? Speaking of
yes.
explosive, we just got some explosive video I got to share with you guys in the audience. I'm
Okay.
sorry to break in on you like this, but we have an exclusive video that we need to share with this audience right now. I apologize once again,
Hey,
but
man, breaking news.
we'll go to that video right now.
Let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
We got to start this over. Sorry about that.
Say.
No shit, Joey Flow.
Joe.
I can't hear nothing.
You're listening to continuing coverage of SSC getting their shit together.
Yes.
I can't hear it.
No sound, unfortunately. Not the dab. Oh, it was a big fella.
Mhm.
I, if we have to come back to it, there's no problem with that. We can keep it moving.
Yeah, the audio not playing. That's crazy. But
Okay.
check the visuals though.
What you know about the Addison Circle, Clip?
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh man, the boys, right in the building, yo.
Clip,
Um,
you don't remember Addison Circle?
Addison Circle. Nah. Is that where the bars are at?
Yeah, just up north where Hooters,
that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
bars and restaurants all along Beltline and Tollway.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. Okay, I
Yeah.
remember now.
I bet they didn't see that coming.
No, they didn't.
Coming either.
Oh shit! The
My
multi-talented
man, Joey
straight
Flosser.
no chaser.
Hey, I don't think we got audio on that one, Zen. I don't think we heard it.
For real?
Yeah. But
Oh
you know what? Cool,
no!
man.
Yeah, it's just a
That was
video.
Oh no! Oh damn!
we didn't. We didn't get the full Monty on that, but it was a blast to shoot with my man's DB. It was just a lot of fun. But yeah, man.
Tell them where
You
they
know
can
what I'm
see it.
saying? Technical difficulties aside, man. Back to the Cowboys. Again,
Tell them
man.
if you have a place where you're going to put it, tell them where they can find it. Your social media, what?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm Joey Fosa like everywhere. As far as like if that matters to anybody, and all of the social media joints. Let's get it. The single that I put out, it's on Spotify and all that. But again, like I said, check it out. If you dig it, reach out to me, get at me. If you need anything else on that, but yeah, man. Like I said, it's a blast to shoot.
Hey, we'll try to run it again at the end of the show. I'll make sure that it gets through this time.
Hey, man, it's all good, man. Let's get back on them Cowboys. That's what everybody wants to hear about.
All right. So Jerry, we're back on Jerry.
Just like I said, man, if we didn't care as much as we did, it wouldn't be as big of a deal, man. I mean, I trip out on people trying to analyze this and trying to analyze the salary cap. It's one of these things, man. It's kind of like a pet peeve to me. You know what I'm saying? Because if you want to get around the salary cap, you will. Philadelphia proved that. Okay, by signing Barkley after the team had gone to a Super Bowl. So I mean, I really don't want to hear it. And again, I think it sets up perfectly, for Jerry to, say, hey, we're gonna bust the budget and all that. Man, it's not a deep free agent class. It's really not. In terms of guys that interest me. Now, I look at it a different way. You know what I'm saying? To me, I think Blankenship is the premier free agent, the free safety from Philadelphia, because free safeties are so hard to find. And any pick that, any free agent that you can get that doesn't require you to use a draft pick to me, it's a bonus. So, again, we'll see. I think, like I said, the interesting part is that, he's going to break the bank. But like I said, man, it's not like, this is when, Reggie White and Tim McDonald and Deion Sanders were free. Right. That's not the same thing. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. I like that point too, Joey, in that you're like, man, I hear what you're saying, but we've been around long enough. We're not totally buying the hype. And it sounds good. Like I said, like Cliff so appropriately said, it's Jerry, right? And when he said that, for me, man, I have much the same feeling that you guys did. But for me, it was, well, what exactly does that mean? Right. Joey, I think you bring up a great point in that this doesn't appear to be like this huge anticipatory, free agent class, because you kind of knew with the Saquon situation that, the Giants, were going to separate from Saquon with the injury history and kind of where they were going as a franchise. And to their credit, Philadelphia stepped up, and made it happen. I think about moves like, which we all openly lamented on this show, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was actually living in the front door of the Star, fully anticipated coming here, and that wasn't even a break the bank move. And they never reached out to the guy. So, now it's just a lot of noise.
And we talked about that here. Yeah.
Now it's just a lot of noise. And what does that mean? And there was a phrasing I wanted to get to it and bring up that I thought was interesting. I says typical Jerry, and part of the problem that fans like us have is, we're going to break the bank, and instead of keeping it in the lane of doing what we have to do to win, even if it's a lot of noise, keeping, pardon me, it's a lot of noise with regard to, winning. He made the statement, keep it as entertaining as possible. I said that too is Jerry. We were talking about the entertainment value, the show, as opposed to the substance, right? So, and I'll land it here, man. I think this is just one of those deals, like you both said, where it's typical that we hear this type of stuff from Jared to, get the fan base revved up. I think he's got a lot of fodder going into next year, particularly with the offense performing like it did. I think he will naturally create a momentum about next season if two things happen. One, if they re-sign George Pickens, right? And I mean that's naturally going to create a buzz. Regardless of the break the bank assertion, that's going to, and of course how they do in the draft. Of course, if he does that, there's actually going to be a lot of anticipation. If they seemingly pick up some guys at a position of need, of which there are many, then that
Excuse
anticipation
me.
is going to be there. And you know what? Jerry knows that. He absolutely knows that. But to Cliff's point earlier, I mean that's why there's a reason that this franchise has been valued at the most valuable in the entire world for 6-7 years running, and the number keeps going up. So we'll see what happens. Let's see, Zen, you mentioned some clips pertaining to what Jared was referencing in terms of this budget blast. Do we have those?
Let's get
From
it.
where we were sitting here this time last year, we have made quantum leaps in my mind in the football character of.
Yeah, you made quantum leaps by half a game. You're half a game
Mhm.
better than you were last year with a healthy Dak Prescott. So
Right.
yeah, you made quantum leaps by a half a game.
I'm gonna say
I
this.
mean, it's
I'm gonna be
no.
honest.
Go ahead, Cliff.
No, I mean, from a meat and potatoes, what did you actually do? A tangible standpoint, yeah, you're absolutely right. We got half a game up from last year. Now, I will say this: from how I felt at the end of the season last year to how I feel at the end of the season now, I wouldn't use the word quantum, but I do feel a lot more optimistic about next year because I ain't gonna lie. I came in this year, I was like, I don't see shit.
Right.
It's just too many question marks. Head coach, O line, skill. Well, not really skill position, but defense. Like it's just way too many questions.
Mhm.
Now that we have Quentin Williams, now that we have Kenny Clark. I mean, I'm sure Speaking of guys we add back on, I'm sure Jadeveon Clowney will be back on the team. You know what I'm saying? I think that it kind of because he's only 32. Because dudes
Yeah.
like Calais Campbell been playing like 38. So it's like,
Right.
you
Hey,
know,
that's my
he,
man's
he
right there, Calais
you
Campbell.
feel me?
That's my dude.
He ain't
Yeah,
crazy
that's
long in
my
the
guy.
tooth, if we being honest. But I mean, I do feel a lot better about 2026 than I did this time last year going to 2025. I'm like, I can't really get excited about this team. So again, I wouldn't use the word quantum leaps, but I do think 1 year later we are in a better stead. That's for damn sure.
I would agree with
And
that.
when you send Michael away, and then you try to offset that with Williams and Clark. And again, man, it's a wash at best. You know what I mean? You add Pickens, which that's a good thing. But again, we talk about the two different, main differences, in the offense. Okay, yes, man, they added Booker. Okay, they had the guys coming back, playing again. With the exception of Guyton, to get a little bit more cohesiveness on that
Mhm.
offensive line. But the two add-ons, Javonte Williams and Pickens, they're both free. So, we need to see what's up with that. If it's breaking the bank to keep them, I can live with that, man. But I still think that you could just do yourself a tremendous, tremendous service by filling a need in free agency with, again, it's what I've talked about here time and time again, the Baltimore-esque, the Philadelphia-esque free agents. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? 20,
Mhm.
20, 26-year-old Saquon. You feel me? Um, that's like those teams would make and pick their shots in terms of free agency and get somebody good. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, again, man, I'm stuck on the Blankenship thing just for nothing else than that. I like the player. He plays for a rival. Philadelphia is not going to be able to keep him. Okay, yes, I've talked about the salary cap being very fluid and very pliable, but at some point, you got two receivers paid, tight end paid, lineman paid, quarterback paid, running back paid. All right, at some point, man, it's true. you're not going to be able to pay everybody. And they drafted the kid Akwamu from out of Texas, who is so good. He's on the field now as a strong safety. This is the natural, evolution for him to slide over and take Blankenship's place, who's a guy that kind of came out of nowhere as a late round draft pick. Okay. So, I'm thinking it's going to be anywhere. I'm thinking it's going to be about 5 for 80 to sign him, and I say that because what the kid got that they paired up with Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore, the kid from New Orleans, he got like 5 for 70. All right. And we know it's all credit card money, but again, that's what you're looking at. If you care about that stuff and want to get into that stuff, if you want to get around the cap, you can. And Jerry and them can do it. But I think more what we're talking about is keeping Williams, keeping Pickens, doing something with Aubrey, in that. And again, my strategy would be, give me one real good 25, 26-year-old free agent. And there's not a whole lot of them out there. Most of the guys that are free agents are in their 30s, in their late 20s. And again, the trend with that is you get somebody in their late 20s, it's all downhill from there. That's why I like the younger guys. So same shit, different day, man. We'll see.
Yeah, before we jump to that second vid, I'll say this with regard to the question marks clip. I agree with your assertion that, coming in at 25, you had no idea because you had no idea who was going to run the football. That was the most pleasant surprise, I think, coming into this year is, Shotty's first year, what message was he going to put out there? We were certainly, just completely disenchanted with, Mike McCarthy. So
it was a concern that we texted about in the group, all of us, about them being able to run the ball.
So, Javonte Williams, I think, when you talk about the break the bank situation, if that's what he's pertaining to, and before we get to the second clip, they've already, they being the Cowboys management, Stephen Jones specifically said that they made it very clear to Javonte Williams' representation that they wanted to do a deal and talking about an extension. So we'll see how that proceeds or what have you. Of course, I think Cowboy fans will be excited about that because the kid just really did a job today, or this year, I should say. And of course, everybody be holding their breath on the Pickens situation. So with that, let's see what this second clip with old Gerald Wayne is talking about. Pump up the volume.
Are y'all able to hear it?
No.
Man, I don't know what's going on with the audio sharing today, but it is definitely set to share in Restream. All right, we're going to have to abandon this if that's the case, fellas. I apologize.
That's fine. That's fine. Before we
is this where he said the Super Bowl thing or what? Is that what that was? Is this where he was talking about where he made the quip about the Super Bowls?
Yeah, essentially he was saying that he wanted to catch up with Robert Kraft.
Yeah. So,
I'll
be very brief. Did y'all laugh? Because
I want to be point guard for the 76ers, man, but Allen Iverson was way better than I was.
No doubt. More Jerry. That's all it was. I mean, it's something for them to run with. Them being the media, whom he knows will jump all over that. I mean, he's been doing this too long. He's a master at it because, Jerry's sole focus and biggest objective in life as a big to the Cowboys is to keep them at the top of the conversation, whatever the hell's going on with it. He's mastered that. He's going to continue to do that, until, Jerry's no longer with us. So I just took it as just that, something else to give them fodder because, these production crews have to be sending Jerry texts and emails thanking him for giving them, a couple of weeks worth of lead-ins just so they can talk about that because the viewership's up. I mean, it's just, that's what it is.
DB, do you think he says, watch this, and then goes out and says shit? Do you think that's what Jerry does? Watch this. And then goes out and says shit like this?
I wouldn't. I don't know if he does it consistently. I wouldn't discount the fact that he's done it before in all this time. Because he said some pretty sensationalist shit that even for Jerry was like, what the hell did he just say? I think it all depends on when you catch him with that Johnny Walker Blue. If he's been into it a little bit, then oh yeah. Yeah. I think that's a distinct possibility. That's Jerry's That's Jerry's sip of choice. And I think if he's had one or two of those, hey, you he probably has to say, Steven, watch this shit. So, again, we'll see what happens, man. It's a lot of Jerry spin. It's a lot of Jerry, um, you know, pumping, priming the pump, building the buzz again. Which typically what Jerry does. He's a master at it. He's still gonna have crowds out in Cali and Oxnard. There's going to be hype. You know, if they sign these guys that we talked about, which are their own free agents, there's going to be a hell of a lot of hype around this team. So we'll see what happens. With that, man, let's feltly segue to what has
Let
been.
me say this real quick.
Oh, go ahead, Clip. My bad. Shoot off, Bob.
What exactly does he mean by that? Because last time I checked, Bob Kraft has 6, Jerry has 3. So does he think
Exactly.
winning this one would make him at 4
Yeah.
equates to Kraft? Like, what exactly does he mean by that?
Or is
Because you
he
would
anticipating the run? I mean,
right, you would effectively need 3 to surpass Robert Kraft
is there
because you
another
don't get
three-peat? I mean,
right.
are we going 4 out of 5? I mean, come on, man.
You know,
Again, that's why
Hey,
I openly
man.
laughed.
Hey, Kraft and them is the 1 seed. All right. So, hey,
Yeah, it's not a
Kraft is closer to
possibility.
getting another one this year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So Kraft probably laughed at that, but man, it's
You
not
know,
like an older, kind of detached gentleman. I'll be nice and temper my ageism, uh, since I'm closer to that than not. Um, But yeah, man. I mean, it's just like it's like you said earlier, Cliff. It's like, man, come on, man. I mean, it's just Jerry putting something out there because he knows that's going to be a conversation piece because that's what he craves. He craves the national conversation about the Cowboys, and he
yep.
is the master of the soundbite. There's nobody in professional sports, not NFL. There's nobody. There's no owner. There's no person in professional sports that creates more buzz about their franchise than this man. 37 years running now. August will be 37 years. So nothing's changed. I mean, it's just some outlet. He's really gone WWE mode at this point.
It's at water finds its level. You know what I'm saying? With the advent of
Yep,
media, with the advent of social media, with the advent of instant publishing, you know what I'm saying, and all that stuff.
no doubt.
Finally, at this point in time, water finds its level. So, cats like us just are like, okay, this ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Because again,
Yep.
as I said, water finds its level, man, with all the exposure media wise, man. It's like at some point, the truth comes out.
And you know what? At this juncture, I mean, getting that here it is, man. It's now officially 30 years, 3 decades, right? Um, bro, I turned 30 years old the year the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl. So I've gone
And
literally a whole lifetime since they not even played in the damn game. So I really don't give a damn if he catches Kraft or not. At this juncture, where I am, I just want to see another one. Hell, I want to see him play in the game. If we're just being honest.
yeah.
So damn that streak and damn all this hyperbole. Just get to the goddamn NFC Championship
What
game and
they
give us something
say a
fans to
championship
play
buys
in
you
the game
10
and win it.
years in the market, right? They say a championship buys you 10 years in the market. Jerry's got 3, and it's been 30 years.
Yeah.
There you
So,
go.
well, man, with that, let's probably segue to what has been a very hot topic of discussion, not only here in these parts in Dallas, but around the country, and it was very highly anticipated. There's no secret that the Cowboys' season was very overtly torpedoed by the atrocious defensive unit that they had for 2025. They gave up 511 points, the highest in franchise history. I love the nugget that Joey Flosa put out last week about going into that last game. They'd given up 121 points more after 16 games than the 1 in 15 89 team. That's how bad this team was. Um,
Yeah, that's
and
insane.
yeah, and so naturally, as we called for on this show, and I'm sure a lot of fans did, defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus canned out of there. I like the fact that they didn't take long with this decision, because as we've seen, there have been some heads rolling in and around the National Football League, from coordinators to up and coming coaches to former head coaches that were former coordinators. So there's a lot of opportunity. So With that said, there's a very exhaustive search and a very involved search going on to find the one person to add to this coaching personnel that who's charged with one job: fix this damn defense and get us back in the playoffs and get us a push to the Super Bowl. Joe, we'll start with you. Who do you think are the most viable, in your opinion, were the most viable candidates? Who would you like to see the Cowboys go after and land to fix this damn defense?
Well, there's so many candidates out there,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of cats that are on the rise, or cats that have like Brian Flores, been a former head coach. I really think that in the end, trying to get a Brian Flores or someone of that ilk, or a Raheem Morris, a guy like that,
Right.
I don't see it being in the cards. Okay. And, as far as the Al Harris thing, a guy that we've championed from jump, I mean, my thought is, man, are they still in their bag about Diggs? Because Al Harris was a Diggs, confidant, right? So are they still in their bag about that? Is there no way that they're going to do that? Again, you see these cats that coach other positions,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I mean? And if you're talking about a guy making a jump as opposed to an existing, defensive coordinator that's free, like a Flores, or a former head coach that got thumbed, like Raheem Morris,
Mm-hmm.
right? More often than not. And again, you were talking about all of the heads that got lopped off. Once again, man, the numbers are the same every damn year, man. 25% of NFL coaches get thumbed every year. Now, you would just book it, right?
Yep.
There's going to be 8 to 10 new ones every year. And again, you got, your man's Dan Quinn, going Wayne Fontes, and staying a step ahead of the posse by lopping off his two coordinators. Joe Witt, a guy with Cowboy connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, man, like that was Fontes' deal, right? You would just see Fontes with Detroit, after a down year,
Right.
he calls a guy to his office and says, "Hey, man, we feel like it's in everybody's best interest if we just part ways." And the dude's like, "It's not in my best interest. I had a job before I walked in this motherfucker. Now I'm fired." Right. But it was in Fonz's best interest. All right. And they put that pressure on DQ. Hey, man, you step ahead of the posse right now, Playboy. You got to fire your coordinators. Right. If you want to keep this thing going. This is why Jim Harbaugh left Baltimore. They did the same thing with him. Hey, man, somebody's got to pay. All right. You got to let somebody go. When he's like, nah, I'm Jim Harbaugh, man. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm John Harbaugh. I'm not going out like that. You feel me? I'm not going to do that. So now he's free. And again, this is what you deal with. I think a lot of the attractive candidates are going to get head coaching jobs. So you talk about guys that coached other positions for other teams. I like the guy that's the secondary coach in Carolina. He played in the NFL for like 10 years as a safety. I'm still a big Al Harris guy. I've heard Jim Leonard's name mentioned quite a bit.
Yes.
He's a former safety, right? So his thing is going to be the back seven, right? Yep. So, I mean, I think all of these are intriguing. And just real quick, I want to throw this out there real quick as I land the plane. I heard, again, reading into what people say, I heard Coach Schottenheimer today say he wasn't as much concerned with the style of defense that the new coordinator ran as he was with player development. Okay. And so this indicates to me something that, again, we've talked about on this show ad nauseum, is being able to communicate, all right, with these players, man. These are young cats. You got to be able to, man, if you want them to develop, you got to be able to communicate with them, and I think that's what he's looking for. And I will say this as I land the plane. I think we're seeing a lot more of that in terms of these young coaches, like a Dave Canales out there in Carolina, okay, like Liam Cohen in Jacksonville, right? Like Schottenheimer is trying to do. They connect with these players. You know what I'm saying? Right. They connect with them. And you want to play for a coach like that. I'm sorry, man. As a former player, you just do. And I didn't have coaches like that. My coaches were all business. So I'm like, all right, man, let me do my job. You feel me? But the prospect of playing for a coach that's like, come on now, dig in, boy, let's go. Here we go, let's ride. Right? There's something to that. And I think that that's the essence of what we're looking for in our next defensive coordinator. A guy like Chris Richard, someone like that. Similar in terms of temperament.
Interesting. Cliff, what you think, man?
I'm gonna say the name we all been waiting for. Rex Ryan, baby. Let's do it. Rex Ryan. Nobody. No.
Hey, man, that son bitch will down with his boots on. I will say that. He don't give a rat's ass.
I might pause for the cars and go get that tequila out the freezer.
It seems like every Cowboy DC opening, man, Rex Ryan finds his way to come into the finals. So I know the Eberflus firing is very recent, but don't be surprised when his name.
Somebody's interviewing Jason Garrett. You know what I'm saying? So why not throw your name in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, the Rex Rex Ryan sweepstakes, man, you can never undermine that part. So, no, in all seriousness, JC pretty much nailed the guys that I have in mind. You know, right off rip, B Flow definitely also have been a head coach, very limited time of head coach, but you know, with a younger guy, you know, black guy, you come in and you have that. Now I know that doesn't necessarily not placate, but it doesn't always guarantee you as a head coach that you're gonna succeed, i.e. Aaron Glenn, i.e. I don't even know if you can call Buddy Black, man. What's that that nerd dude over there?
D'Amico Ryans is doing a hell of a job.
D'Amico Ryan seems to kind of be the outlier with this iteration. But a lot of brothers are doing very good jobs being coordinators, and so and it just so happens that's what we need. We need a damn good, relatable coordinator. So yeah, Brian Flores was the first name I thought of. Also Al Harris, obviously having the Cowboy roots. You know, just being a guy that players always spoke about how they loved his style so much. I don't know why he hasn't been elevated. You know, being such a fixture for so long, I can't call it. You know,
because one thing that lawsuit. He's got that lawsuit, Cliff. He's got that lawsuit against the NFL for when Miami. He said the owner told him that he had to tank. He had to lose games. He offered him $100,000. He said, according to Flores, he offered me $100,000 to lose games. If I lose every game I lost, it'd be an additional $100,000. Right.
Well, I'm talking about Al Harris, though.
When you sue the shield, it's kind of a problem.
Well, I was talking about Al Harris, but that's interesting. I mean, that's one of the worst kept secrets about how guys are told to tank, and we saw that in New England. Speaking of them, last segment, I forget the damn coach name, former player. He was told to lose, and he won the last game, putting them deeper down or further away in draft position. So he got shown his walking papers. So yeah, I mean, to hear it said out loud that way, again, is one of the worst kept secrets we've seen. So maybe that's why B Flow hasn't gotten his chance. But with all things said, I think you hit the nail on the head, because that's pretty much the angle I was going to take. That a guy who's proven, a guy who's relatable to these guys, and that's kind of why I like Shotty so much, even though he's a so-called no name. Hearing his messaging, I'm like, I can work with that. I can work with that. That's something that can translate. Instead of leading in with my Rex Ryan approach, joke for that matter. The guy's approach like that is like, shut up and listen to me. It's just not really the way anymore. Like, you see Bill Belichick struggling with that type of messaging as well. You know what I mean? So
facts.
That's just where we at now. So no, I think
it's a terrific point. Terrific point. Is the relatability and what that looks like is totally different now with today's young athlete, college athlete, certainly professional. It's I mean, the dynamics of what makes coaches relatable, because the concept is still the same as far as the buy-in, right? But how that buy-in is achieved is way different. And I think that galvanizes your point, Cliff, in that, these guys, my way or the highway guys, Well, these young boys now, they got no problems. Um, you know, like, hey man, we won't ride with you and can't fire all of us. So um out you go. Um man, I was so right before we came on, I don't know if any of you guys saw it. Um the Cowboys were denied permission to speak to the defensive coordinator for the Falcons. That report came out late evening, like 5, 6 ish. Cowboys requested permission to speak to the defensive coordinator. His name escapes me at present, but not 30 minutes after that report came, the Falcons immediately told the Cowboys, "Nah, bro, leave that dude alone. We're not letting you talk to him." With regard to the names that you guys put out there, I think Flores would be an absolute wish list, um, as well as Raheem Morris. But I think Raheem Morris is going to get a head coaching gig. It'll be interesting to see how the Cowboys play it from a standpoint of waiting to see if one of these guys washes out, because that's always kind of a slippery slope. Or do you get aggressive with a guy like Leonard, who was the defensive pass game coordinator, much like Chris Richard was for Denver, which is a very, very solid defensive group. And we saw that firsthand when they handed Dallas their ass. So that name kind of intrigues me. There's something as I've gotten older and watched the um, really kind of the morphing of the athlete coach relationship. Um, Cliff, I think you make a great point in terms of that relatability standpoint. And a guy like him, I mean, you can see it, particularly on defense, man. Those guys, um, they have to be on one accord in terms of you know how they're playing their positions, what they do with their assignments, and they look instinctive versus thinking it and not reactive. And Denver had a lot of that. So the thing I worry about is that Jerry Jones likes safe meaning what he knows or who he's heard of. I mean, Brian Schottenheimer wasn't a lame floated about the league, but Brian Schottenheimer has been in the building for 2 or 3 years, so he got to know him. He trusts him, and I certainly think that trust has been elevated after this season. So it'll be interesting to see historically what the Cowboys' philosophy has been in terms of bringing in a guy. And lastly, just how much I know it was spoken to, but just how much will Brian Schottenheimer have in that say or have in that conversation in terms of input on who he's going to come in to fix his defense? Because I mean, face it, guys, that's a lot of pressure, right? It's like, hey man, this offense, we straight over here. You got to fix this shit. And once the job starts and they shake hands and he's put, and you get his direct deposit information, it's on and popping. We got to get him some guys in there, and he's got to figure it out. So it'll be real interesting to see how they play it from a standpoint of waiting to get the big fish guy, taking the chance on the up and coming guy. Again, because you don't want to wait too long because you might miss an opportunity, you might miss the next superstar guy, or what have you. So be real interesting to see what they do to bring this thing a competent. Now the fourth defensive coordinator in 4 years. So this thing has been problematic, a problem they have not solved. So this is a very big issue for Cowboys. I know that we'll keep track of going forward as to who they land and just how well they do and how well he's received once that announcement's made. Shifting gears to some of the prospects that have been bandied about with the Cowboys. Cowboys, some of you may know, actually by aptly, and I'm gonna have to give my man Cliff some credit on this. Um, we were like openly hoping that the Cowboys dropped that last game against the Giants because, we talked about the difference, and Cliff brought this up on the show last week, the difference in picks. And as it turns out, Dallas gained quite a bit by not getting a game that meant absolutely nothing. And so now Dallas is picking 12th and 20th in the draft. And so now the names are starting to get bandied about as to who may be there, who may the Cowboys pick. And Ohio State has put quite a few really, really good pros in the league on both sides of the ball. And this year is no exception. And three names that have been thrown about, and the Cowboys have been active in dipping into that Ohio State pool. And there's three names that are out there that are not any different. And this year it's the all-world safety Caleb Downs, and the very capable, and I think very active Arvell Reese. And the name that has been thrown out there a ton is Sonny Styles at the 12th pick. A lot of consensus mocks that I've seen have Caleb Downs going before that 12th pick comes around for Dallas. Who knows? Funny things happen on draft day, so we'll see. But fellas, given Cal, I'm gonna give it a little CD scenario. Given because you have plans and then the draft starts happening, and then it just takes an organic shape, right? And people slide and people move up for inexplicably either direction. So I'll couch it to you fellas like this. Cliff, I'll start with you. If you're sitting there and for some reason these three outstanding Ohio State players happen to be there, who do you take first if you're Dallas?
I'm going secondary first, man. We need an identity back there
Yeah.
because we're lost. We're lost. And I get it, the linebacker core needs work, but I would argue now in this iteration of the NFL, you need a captain back there, man. And at one point that was Trevon Diggs. I don't think. I mean, we talked about this already with what's my other man's name? Fuck. Yeah, I second this corner.
Oh, Bland.
Bland.
Yeah,
But
Bland.
Bland, he's probably more of a slot guy, right?
Yeah.
So we need our Hoss back there who's gonna be more or less the quarterback of the of the back end of the defense.
Yes.
Because again, we're going to coordinate number 5, so I'm just not going to trust the fact that they're going to come in on point, that everything's going to be fine and all cylinders back there. So you want a playmaker. So that's the reason why I wanted to lose last week, is because the sooner you go, you're going to get a guy. You're going to get a guy who's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, who's all world to change life for you, that you're going to have on a 3-year rookie contract. That's what I was saying.
Yes.
Like, fuck that game. Fuck that game. I don't care what that record look like for the year. The higher we go up, and I was thinking maybe 14. Now we up to the 12, so it's a double, like thumbs up on that situation. So yeah, I'm going safety, because we got a guy out there super athletic, a guy who's gonna just give us a change of identity. Because I've seen the Texans do this with Derek Stingley Jr. I've seen the Broncos do this with Patrick Surtain Jr. Right?
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Let's do that.
You spot on. There's game changes. I mean, you spot on. I mean, that's where the game is. But I love the names you're throwing out.
Yeah, so I'm like, these young guys can come affect your team right now. So yeah, that's what I want. Go ahead, JC.
JC, what you got?
And I think you're right. I think you're right, Cliff. I think the safety is the best player, that you could possibly get there. There's no way on God's green earth, man, that the edge guy's available. If he is, you take him and head to the fucking house. Seriously. There's no way he's available. Okay, this guy's going to be the first edge off the board. The stand-up guy, you're talking about positional value. All right. All you need is one team to value a free safety that highly. Right. And I think that you look at a lot of the teams that are picking in front of them, they've got quarterback needs, offensive line needs, and this is not a top-heavy offensive line draft. Once you get past the tackle from Utah, it's like, okay, but still, 5 or 6 of them will go in the first round. That's just kind of always how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that Downs, I agree with Cliff. I think that Downs, tremendous positional value. Now, I'll throw this caveat in there as well. Again, Mansour Delane, I'm obsessed with him. Okay, and DB can really speak on him. He's an LSU guy. I mean, I just love him as a prospect. This is the guy out of this draft, not the dude from Tennessee, because the dude from Tennessee is very physically gifted. This is another Ravel setup. He hadn't played much lately.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
You're going on the previous year with him. Yeah. Meanwhile, they're running around looking like Honey Badger at corner. Okay? That's my thought process. I also think that LSU is better than kind of what their record indicates. That's just my personal thoughts on it. I love LSU
that
guys.
Team this year for sure was the defensive side of the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and again, right now you're in a spot where, as Cliff said, we talk about moving Bland to the slot. And Ravel looks to me, given the size, he looks like a right corner to me. Okay, so what you need is the guy, right? You need the guy. And I think Delane's the guy. And again, we look at so many of these guys early on, and some of them rise in the draft, right? Like my guy, Kendrick Falk out of Auburn, who's rising in the draft. And then other guys, because of positional value, like a free safety, like a Caleb Downs, could slide in the draft. Again, I saw one draft that had them getting Downs and Delane. Again, if that happens, Lord Jesus, I'm juiced at that point. If that happens, I don't see it because I think Delane's is like Falk. His value is going to skyrocket. I talked about Falk a month ago, and it's like, oh, yeah, he might slip into the end of the first round. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, shit, Falk's going 5 to Tennessee. All right. And I think that people are going to start to look at the film on Delane, right? They're going to look at the film on Delane. They're going to see him continuously making plays. And I believe he'll be the first corner off the board because Elam, the kid in Tennessee, again, super talented coming off of an injury. So for positional value, if Delane is gone and Downs is there, man, you run your ass up to the draft board, jamming the ticket with Downs' name on the ticket because this is the best free safety prospect since Derwin James, who, P.S., as I land the plane, is the best safety in the NFL right now.
Perfect segue, because that's exactly where I was going on the heels of what Cliff said and what you just landed with. You mentioned those guys that galvanize a defense, and the Cowboys have been woeful up the middle of their defense for years. Front end of tackle. We talked about the linebackers forever, and even at safety, and they've really gotten by, right, at all three of those positions for a number of years now. They've gotten by, and
with nothing but Jags, JAG, right. Just a guy,
yeah, just a guy, and and some they've gotten some value out of, like a Donovan Wilson. I think that time has kind of run its course. The Malik Hookers and the Donovan Wilsons and what have you. This guy Downs reminds me of a pick like a Derwin James. Derwin James was the prospect.
Yeah, he's tall, he's rangy, he's physical,
and he's cerebral.
It's not to like.
Right, and he's cerebral. And Dallas needs that. I mean, he's the guy that the cat and mouse game for a lot of people still, which is amazing to me. The cat and mouse game, the game within the game on the football field, is between the quarterback and the safety. Right. That's what made my favorite safety of them all, the great Ed Reed, so great.
Well, Sammy Ball was a quarterback and a free safety when they played both ways. Yeah, I think that sums it up right there.
Yeah. So to get a guy like that in this defensive secondary for whomever comes in to coordinate, I think he helps your coordinating position a ton if a Caleb Downs is in the building. Right. That kid he's special. I mean, he's just some guys you just see. And, barring the catastrophic injury, you just know, right? You just know. Derwin James is everything they thought it would be. I go back to, you look at Jalen Ramsey's career. Jalen Ramsey was everything we thought he would be, right? Picks like that can really change it when you have a position of need, especially in this game when you've got to have those guys in the back. And that safety is the one calling it, making the, making the adjustments, getting those guys right.
Yes.
Pardon me. So, I like the fact that's where both y'all's thought process in terms of if he's available. I think Caleb Downs is a guy. Of the two linebackers that referenced on the Ohio State trip, I think Sonny Styles is more of the consensus. And if you look at most of the mocks that are out there, that he's more of the desired talent. And I don't know. Pardon me. If I don't know if was the kid is Reese? Is that the other kid's name? Help me out with the
Reese is the stud.
Yeah.
Reese is the stud. Yeah.
So
he's the pass rusher. Yeah, Reese is the pass rusher.
So can either one of those guys upgrade your linebacker core? Sure, they could. Is there?
Yeah, is it the Oklahoma guy comparable to him too?
Pardon me.
Isn't he comparable to Styles? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
Oklahoma stand-up guy.
Yeah. But the thing I kind of have a slight hesitancy on is when you go really high. When I say really high, top 15 at linebacker. You know,
He
um,
better be a Mike. He better be
yeah,
a fucking
I'm
Mike if I'm
thinking
picking him at 12.
right, and
Seriously.
that's exactly where I'm
Yeah.
going. When you're talking a top
Yes.
15 linebacker, dude,
He
I'm
better be
thinking
a Mike.
like a Roquan Smith. I mean, like an absolute
A
can't
game
miss
Like
record.
a, yeah,
I
like
want a
a
game
stud.
yeah, like
record
a
if you're going that high.
Queen or like a Warner or like a Wagner, somebody
Right,
like that.
Bobby Wagner,
Yeah.
Patrick
Like
Queen,
the
a
Texans getting
Roquan Smith.
Anderson, Will
Yes.
Anderson that high. Like you
There
got
you
to get a
go.
game record. Yeah.
Right, and I don't know. And here's
Oh,
my
Will
hesitancy.
Ash's the edge guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
he
I
was
don't
playing
know.
linebacker in college though, wasn't
Yes,
Yeah,
he? Yeah.
but I think they run a 3-4, and
yeah,
he's kind of been the guy that's consistently come off the edge for them. And they made a
yeah.
move to get him too, and that was
Yeah,
scheme
that's what I'm saying.
specific,
He's
man.
a game record though.
Anderson
Like
is,
you,
yeah,
yeah,
he
that's
has
you
done a
draft top
hell of a
10 right
job.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's
that's
a
what I'm thinking.
baller.
well,
Yeah,
well, I
yeah.
mean, or close to your top 10, because what we drafted Mike at what 11
And
or
it's
12. I
like
can't
what
remember.
It's like what Walker is doing in Jacksonville now, right?
Yeah,
That was the thing when they got him out of Georgia, right? Now all of a sudden the boy's 13-4.
yep.
When you run that 3-4 shit, man, like it changes how you look at personnel.
And again,
You know what I mean?
we won't
So,
know what that philosophy will be until they get the
Right.
guy that they end up settling on,
Right.
right? So,
and Schottenheimer said he was open to somebody that ran whatever,
yeah, I did see that.
right?
I did see that.
So that means a 3-4 is in play. You have $60 million in your D tackle types.
Right.
Why not trot them all out there and start them?
So
Right? Why not start all
the
three?
philosophy,
But again, you are miles away on inside linebackers for a 3-4.
Yeah.
Miles away.
Yeah. So it'll be real interesting to
You don't
see.
There's no thumpers.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting to see if either of these guys in the Ohio State pipeline end up landing on the Cowboys roster. I will land it by saying this: I would welcome either one of them because I think I would be a little more cautious at a linebacker at 12. I would
Yes.
lean more towards a secondary pick,
Because
like a
Styles
Delane,
ain't
like a
Parsons.
Caleb
Don't get
Downs.
it twisted. He
So
ain't Parsons.
right, so we'll see if what they have, if they get from Ohio State or they find a playmaker elsewhere. There's something to keep an eye on. Moving to some guys that are here and some decisions that the Cowboys will have to make is one young stud, all pro already, and future perennial all pro, Tyler Smith, who is at left guard. And due to some injuries and whatnot in the end part of the season, Tyler Smith moved out to where this show has always thought he should be, out at left tackle.
Yes.
More than handle his business. He is an absolute grown man. Let's just start there. He's
6'6", long arms, physical. Yes.
Yeah, he's Larry Allen-esque in that he's
taller. He's got more of a tackle
Right.
body. Yeah.
Right. He's got the ability to where it just starts with his feet. Right. He's got the elite feet for the big man, like Larry Allen had. So I don't think he is quite as
arms. Yes.
physically dominant as Larry Allen was, but he's got the sweet feet for the positioning, and he's got that dog. He's got some nastiness to him, and we think when you've got your $60 million guy dropping back, and the way he's performed, handling his business against some pretty top shelf left tackles as left tackles do.
Yes.
But the Cowboys made an interesting announcement, at least for now, because we know this is fluid and that can change, that Tyler Smith is going to remain at guard, which begs the question, so are we rolling with Guyton at left tackle for the future?
Sounds like it.
Like it. Joey, where are you on this with regard to the announcement in January that Tyler Smith is going to stay guard? Is this a money thing or is this a best interest thing?
I do think it's a gotta be right-itis type shit from Jerry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's I gotta be right. I signed this guy to guard money. Okay. Which again, $23 million at guard. That's top of the food chain type money. All right. But tackles make 30 to 35. All right. The Ronnie Staley's, the Trent Williamses, right? That's what these cats make. And so, again, and I heard Schottenheimer, in the press conference talk about getting his best 5 out there.
Right.
DB, you remember when Jimmy said that? And he had Nate Newton playing right tackle,
I
right?
do
And
remember
Nate
that.
Newton was handling business
Yeah.
at right tackle
I do
until
remember
Eric
that.
Williams was ready, right? Give me my best 5. They had Giesick, who could play center or guard.
John Gacy.
They had
That's right.
Gogan, who looks like a fucking tackle
Yep.
at 6'8", but can
Yep.
play guard, right? I want my best 5. I mean, they even drafted Ron Stone, who went on to be a Pro Bowler with the Giants, right?
Indeed.
Give me my best, another 6'5" guy, 315. Give me my best 5, right? And so if we're seriously talking about our best 5, Jerry, you're going to have to do something with Tyler Smith's contract and make him a left tackle. Why are we constantly worrying about a position like that when we have a guy who, as a rookie, started 17 games and then proceeded to go out to San Francisco and shut my man's Nick Bosa, no relation, held him to 1 tackle in a playoff game.
Yeah.
One tackle. That's all Bosa did. And the previous year against Tyron Smith, he had 2 sacks and was just a terrorist that helped him win that football game in Dallas.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And so to me, I look at it and I say, you know what? That's all I need to see. She's a competent left tackle. Why am I, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, Dennis Edwards just called, right? Don't look any further. You heard me? Right?
I love it.
Why? Why look any further? This guy is competent. We talked about how when he came out of Tulsa,
he's a stud.
Yeah. We talked about when he came out of Tulsa, he's this long-arm guy, is physically super gifted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has a great attitude, will do whatever, whenever, does not care. Okay? Well, damn. That's why I said a couple years ago, man, shit, give him 10 to 300 million. I mean, do the same shit you did with Tyron. Like, when I get left tackle handled, and when I get quarterback handled, and when I get left corner handled, and edge rusher handled, I can move on to other shit. Okay? Right. And trust me, with this outfit, they don't even have those things filled, right? They got quarterback. You have left tackle with Tyler Smith if you just want to go ahead and do it. And do some kind of kicker with it, because the same thing went down with Zach Martin. Cowboys offense was terrible. They moved Zach Martin to right tackle out of necessity for 1 game. Offense pushed up 36 points against Minnesota. No coincidence. But then Zach Martin says, hey, man, under this pay structure, I ain't going to play tackle. You heard me? And I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But look, we're talking about money and all this and all the cap and all that shit. You get backed into these corners about, we're fighting about the cap. Oh, we got Tyler Smith at guard money. Oh, man, screw that shit. Kick him down another 5 to 7 a year. Put him at left tackle. We'll figure that guard shit out. We'll figure it out. Get Steele up out of here. Flip Guyton back to right tackle. He's a first-round draft pick. You have capital invested in him. You better get something out of him. I don't like him at left tackle. At right tackle, I love him. Tremendous size. And I'm sorry, man. The Steele shit's like the Murray thing. Like, why is he still on the team, man? No disrespect, but damn. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of seeing him getting worked, right? Put Guyton back on the right side. That's his natural size when he played in Oklahoma. Okay? Put him back on the right side. Deal with it from there. See how that works. And find you a guard. As opposed to saying, well, shit, we got a problem at left tackle. You already got a problem at corner. You already got a problem at edge rusher. Why are you going to add left tackle to that mix? Makes no sense to me.
That's something to keep an eye on, man. You bring up some great points with regard to having a guy who is entering the prime of his career, who looked like, to your earlier point, a superstar in the making, going against one of the league's premier edge rushers in a playoff situation. And I
remember was a league MVP, and he shut him down.
I remember every broadcaster, every pundit out there was just salivating over this guy's like, man, the Cowboys have found a stud, because he was replacing a longtime stud in Tyron Smith.
Every game, didn't miss a game, and balled out
and
as a rookie.
And balled out. So, I think that could very well be a for now situation. I think once you get through this offseason, I think once you sift through what may be some free agent opportunities there where you could trust a guy that you may not have in your room now to stick at left guard if he's not on the team already, and maybe even the back end of the draft. And
Can
so,
I just
and
say this real quick? Can I
sure,
just say this real quick and throw it back to you, DB? You get the tackles, right? Like the elite tackles.
uh huh.
You get them 12 and 13 and 5 overall. Okay? You get them high.
Yeah.
The Joe Alts, the Roddy Staleys.
Hmm.
Tyron Smith, 11. You draft them high because
Yeah.
they are coveted. You have a right-handed quarterback, all right, as
And
most
they
teams
saw,
do.
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you get them high. Why? When I got so many other needs to fill and I have a competent left tackle on the roster, why am I tripping? Well, shit, we got to look at tackle. I mean, like, if they draft a tackle from Utah this year, okay, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad pick. He could be the best lineman and the best player on the board when they draft, but why? For what?
Yeah.
Stick Smith out there, man. You need to take Caleb Downs if he's there, or Delane, God willing, if he's there. All right. Or any one of the numerous, stand-up pass rushers. If you go 2, 8, 3, 4, or again, we talked about positional value, and I'm gonna land it like this. You don't normally take a guard at 12, but you do if it's
No.
Tyler Booker. But you do if it's Tyler Booker, right? You do if it's Tyler Booker.
Or Zach
Okay.
Martin. Yeah.
Exactly, at 16. You don't normally take a free safety top 10 or whatever. You normally don't take them 12 unless it's Caleb Downs or
Yeah.
Derwin James. And Derwin went
or-
in the second round. Cowboys had a crack at
yeah.
him and didn't take him. So, again, man, positional need, positional value, as DB says.
Value.
And this is how you build your team. You're lucky you got so many damn needs that there's a lot of options there.
Yeah.
And what you can do and help your team.
Yeah. I will. Yeah. I'll round it out on this Tyler Smith point that I thought briefly back to Lyle Collins. When they made the move, they made the decision
Yeah.
with Lyle Collins, who looked like he could have been a 10-year Pro Bowler, maybe a 5 or 6-year All Pro at left guard, and moved him
Great
out to right
feet, great
tackle.
size. Yeah, you're right.
Well, he had the
For
nastiness. I
sure.
mean, he was an absolute truck at left guard, and for whatever reason,
He can
they made the move
move.
to move him to right tackle, and
He
I just
can
remember him
move.
performing
Yes.
on that 16 line, and just like, my God. And he was the best left tackle on the board coming out of LSU, but
But he had the thing with the murder and all that, which he was
well,
not
yeah, the
involved in, and
noise
they
that was
stole him,
unfiltered,
right? Like, you
right?
got to take advantage of that shit, right?
But I mean, in terms of the positional, uh, like
Value.
it was,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I was going. Yeah, you have to have the value. But what I was saying was, it's like they created a conundrum that didn't need to exist, and I
For
think
real.
this sounds, this sounds a lot like that, because they, for a long time they didn't get left guard figured out. I was like, well, the best left guard you got is playing right tackle. So we'll see how that shakes out. I'm hopeful that they come around on that. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of time to do that. And he's like, you know what, after we thought about it, Tyler's our guy out of left tackle. He's the best option we got there. You're not going to draft a guy better than
Yes.
him. So,
No.
they've already extended him, so you can do a lot of things with converting some salary to bonus, maybe adding some
Yeah.
deal. I mean, that's the guy you actually charge a credit card on because he's so young and you've already committed some long-term
He's
money to him, much
homegrown.
like they did with Tyron Smith.
Yes.
So yeah, your point's well taken there. We'll see how that shakes out. So rounding out this discussion, man, before we get to this last point, man, those of you that have tapped in, man, smash that like button, tell you folks about it, smash that like button, subscribe, tell you about it. This is the toughest and most real content about the Cowboys that you will find on the internet anywhere. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Nobody hits it like we do. This is, which with my catchphrase, room temperature, no cut, no ice. It's here straight, no chase, and that's exactly how you get it. We're not rah-rah guys, And so if you appreciate that content, man, tell your people about it. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe. Pardon me, and show some love if you would, please. So as we move to a final talking point of the night, we'll talk about who's out in terms of the clearinghouse here in Dallas. Who do we anticipate being gone? And there's one name on the board that my man Joey has brought up very aptly, and I mean you can start with that. And Terrence Steele, who seems like that name has been up there. It seems like he's been a chopping block guy for a couple years now, but he's he's really, really, really a viable candidate now, as I think his dead money hit is no longer. So I think it's a real part of the
Yes.
discussion. And of course, starting safety Malik Hooker and the recently traded for Cincinnati Bengal linebacker, who I think was a little bit underutilized in
Yeah,
Logan
Wilson.
Wilson.
He's on the hook for $6.5 million.
Yeah.
And you got
So
no, when you trade for him, you got no bonus to absorb.
so
That's
as much
$6.5 million free.
right. So as much as we talk about as we open the show with Jerry busting the budget, the fact of the matter is this: there's a very clear and defined budget that you have to adhere to. You have to get creative to work within that budget, like the Philadelphias, like the San Franciscos, like the LA Rams have done year in and year
Yes.
out. Um,
Yes.
so these are teams, and this is what gives you pause because these are football guys, real football GMs that are, making the deals and making the right monetary moves to get the guy that they want. When you go out, if you're the Rams and you go get a Jalen Ramsey at the time, or you go get, like an Aaron Donald. It's like, are you serious?
Seattle goes and gets DeMarcus Lawrence.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, with these guys that we've referenced, Joey, do we think that one of these guys, and I know you're going to start with, or all of these guys, as far as Steele, Hooker, and Wilson, are they all out the door so that Jerry can bust his budget and retain the guys that we talked about on the offensive side of the ball? What do you think?
It represents about $25 million. And again, I've said it's one of my pet peeves talking about the fucking cap. It pisses me off. It angers me. But there are situations, DB, as you know, in which it's very relevant, right? I mean, think about it, right? And you look at a guy like a Wilson, like a Logan Wilson, who, I mean, let's face it, man, he was persona non grata. Now, I'm going to give everybody a pass based on the scheme, all right? And I also have said that switching to a 3-4 was possible. I'm going to kind of, walk that back a little bit in terms of they are so poor at inside linebacker that I don't think that it's just too much of a change, okay, in terms of, as DB said for years, this is an organization that does not pay attention to linebackers. When you run a 3-4, okay, think about this. Bill Parcells had Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor, Gary Reasons, Brad fucking Van Pelt, and he drafted Carl Banks in the first round, which was a genius pick.
It was.
The two best strong side linebackers of the 80s was Carl Banks and Wilbur Marshall.
Yep.
Right? Like they were red fake 6'4", 245-pound bastards. So now all of a sudden it's like, okay, man, like that position is important, right?
Yep.
Like if you have linebackers and you're in a 3-4, man, your linebackers need to be your predators. They can't be Jags, just a guy. So you talk about Wilson, represents, $6.5 million cap. I think Hooker is right at about 7.5. Okay. That you look at. And who was the other guy? Who was the third guy? Steele. Yeah. Well, again, man, Steele. Again, man, this is a $9 million deal in savings, right? So again, you have to look at these things. And the only time I guess I would say that the cap comes in for me is when you have a guy like Steele, okay, who has this $18 million outlay, like, okay, you gotta make a move there. And again, when you look at Wilson and you say, okay, man, I want to hook for 6'5" with this guy for this year. I mean, you're gonna look at it as a cap guy, as a team guy, and say, hey, he was not that great this past year. And I can draft a guy to be not that great and not make $6.5 million. And I can cut Wilson with total impunity. All right. I got no bonus reverting back to me that I got to eat. He's gone. And again, man, you just did not see enough out of the guy. So I would say again with Hooker, I don't dislike Hooker. He is painfully average. Okay. Now, you need a decent free safety to be if you don't have Derwin James or a really good guy, you need a guy to be decent and to not get you killed. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what Hooker represents, right? I'm with DB in terms of upgrading the position, upgrading
Yes.
the linebacker position, doing something at safety. You've done nothing at safety. Nothing. If you think you haven't done anything at linebacker, you've done even less at safety.
I totally agree.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And again, Hooker's a solid guy. He doesn't get you killed. But boy, I tell you what, man, while you're grooming all these new corners and you're hoping that Bland could come back, wouldn't it be nice to have a playmaker back there? Wouldn't it be nice to have a playmaker back there? And again, as DB has stated ad nauseum on the show, for the love of God, pay attention to linebacker. Like, look at it as a viable position. They drafted Micah at linebacker. He fell to him, but then, oh, shit, he's a pass rusher, right? Let's put his hand on the ground, as we've talked about, right? So where are your stand-up guys? James and Hawaiian Punch, right? Who you seem to have zero confidence in. You have no confidence in Leofau. None. That's what it seems like to me, okay? So when you make this transition, if you were to make a transition to a 3-4, those guys are going to be useless for you. And this is 3 roster spots. Now, where Wilson has use, $6.5 million in cap space, right? $6.5 million in cap space. If you stay with that 4-3, that opens up some money for who? Quinnen Williams' brother, who was an all-pro at one point, is a free agent linebacker with the Jets, but he is decidedly a 4-3 linebacker, okay, which changes how you look at the draft. I think you need to clear this space, and I think you need to, and here's the thing, we talk about Steele. And Steele's the guy with the $9 million, he frees up 9, right? Like when you let him go, he frees up 9, regardless of when you do it, right? So what's that tied into, TV? That's tied into Guyton, okay? So you let Steele go. What you going to do with right tackle? Well, we're really committed to Guyton at left tackle and Smith at guard. To me, it's ridiculous. I feel like you say, all right, man, you know what? This is a natural. Guyton's a right tackle. We'll play it out. We'll see what happens when he gets to his second contract. You don't draft a tackle in the first round without kind of thinking he's going to be your left tackle or he's going to be a right tackle along the lines of a Lane Johnson, a guy that you re-sign, that you keep, right?
Pardon me.
So this to me makes the most sense. Put it back on the right side. We talked about with the late, great Rich Walker, who's an offensive lineman. We talked about sets on the left and the right and about that being so muscle memory. And I think that this is just the thing that could kickstart the guy. I think he's adequate as a run blocker. That to me signifies, hey, let's kick him to the right. Okay. Let's put Smith out at left. There are so many ways, undrafted free agents on the market that you could fill a guard position. Basser Hoffman may be able to fill it.
Yeah,
all right?
that's what I was thinking that.
You're not going to fucking have 5 all-pros on the offensive line. All right? You just need to make do. But the perimeter positions, right and left tackle, are critical, right? And this is one of those cap things that I hate to talk about, but it's real. You know what I'm saying? Hooker, Steele, and Wilson. I mean, again, man, this is $24 million, right? $24 million. You want to re-sign Pickens? You want to re-sign Williams? I want him to go after Blankenship. Got to make moves. And yeah, I mean, these guys got to go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They got to go. But again, is the commitment there, DB, for them to draft a Caleb Downs? Is there a commitment there for them to pay a Blankenship? Okay, because we've seen, much like the linebacker position, they've ignored the safety position. Ignored
it. Yeah. It's an interesting conundrum. I don't disagree with you that, well, because the salary cap is what it is. I mean, and you've got to look at those guys that free up that situation to maybe go after a blanket ship or what have you, because drafting the talent, your first round talent are 5-year deals. Everything else after that is a 4-year deal. And so you're going to get these guys and you draft the talent on rookie deals. And those positions are slotted. So you're not really worried about too much there other than clearing the room to pay your draft picks. So that's an easy fix. Um, and looking at it from the standpoint of, if you look at each guy, how does that affect your thinking in the draft room, when you move a steal, right? There's no way in hell they can take offensive linemen like they've done multiple times and hit on for the most part. You can't do
They
it.
can't.
You can't do it.
They can't.
I think Dallas fans will riot in the streets if they went offensive line in the first round. But
It's
with that said,
insane.
with that said, what are you thinking? What's the thought process there? If you get rid of Terrence Steele, who's pretty competent run blocking, but you lose some of that production because you white knuckle it in the pass rush, and we've done that
Yeah.
for several years.
Yeah.
So as each guy that you're thinking about that will likely be purged out of necessity, how does that affect your draft thought? Safety. If Malik Hooker isn't there, and let's say Caleb Downs goes 9th or 10th, then what are you doing? You follow what I'm saying? So there's cause and effect with each decision. Yeah, we've got these guys, as far as this grouping lined up, but that also affects what you're thinking. And again, the underlying factor in all this is that there's a very strong need-based situation defensively, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's, to your earlier point, I don't think it's quite as need-based because you have personnel here that can make things happen and happen well on the offensive line front when you talk about moving steel. But when you're talking about Hooker and Wilson, who came, in the middle of the year, where does that affect your draft strategy in the draft room if you lock these guys off your roster? So it'll be real interesting to see how things develop. I'm real, and as the nerds that we are on this thing, I'm real interested to see how, like the Ohio State guys, maybe even Delane. I'm real interested to see how these guys run in Indianapolis at the combine, because we all know it's a huge deal. If Caleb Downs,
Yeah.
runs, you say a low 4.4, a high 4.3, a low 4.4, he's probably
Yeah.
off the
Guys
board
rise
because
and
what?
fall. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Guys rise and fall.
it
And so,
literally happens like that. If he's a
yeah.
4 or 5 guy, which is fine if you're in the middle of the field, because it's
Oh,
about
yes.
steps, it's about turning your hips, it's about taking the
Yes.
right step.
Yes.
So you don't have to
Yeah.
be a burner. It helps. Speed always helps. But if you're running fast the wrong way, then you fucked up. So,
Yeah.
it'll be real interesting to see how these guys that they're thinking about, perhaps as far as draft positioning goes, how the strategy or the philosophy starts to take shape after the combine. And then of course with these clearinghouse guys that we brought up here on this last segment, is if you get rid of these guys that we've identified, then how does that affect your draft room? So it's gonna be a lot to think about. I'm sure there's a lot that we'll get back to as it develops, because we will be bringing
Hey,
you
let me
some
ask you
badass
this.
content to that end.
Let me ask you
Yes,
this:
sir.
if you sign Blankenship
Uh-huh.
and Delane is off the board at 12, but
hmm
Downs is still there, do you draft him? I do.
Yes, 100%. Yes,
I do.
yes, yes. You've taken a position of consistent and profound hope against hope, and dare I say, there were many years where that was a position of
And,
weakness,
and they're both great
and you've
tacklers.
turned
They're
it
both
into
great
an
tacklers.
immediate
Yeah.
strength,
Yeah,
an
they're both
immediate
great
strength.
tacklers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on with both. There's no question I do that. There's no
Yeah.
question I do that.
Yeah, I do too.
I,
Because
I,
you're just
I
trying to
like
get
I like
better,
the
right? Like,
hypothetical,
yeah.
because, well, and think about it from the financial aspect. One, yeah, you're gonna have to spend some money for Blankenship. He's coming. He's a proven guy in the league.
Yep.
Young, been on a Super Bowl team, knows
Yeah.
what that walk,
Yeah.
knows what that commitment looks like,
Yep.
and what have you. And yeah, you take something off of your rival in Philly, and
And you could slide Downs over in a couple of years to take his spot if you had
correct.
to. right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you
you know,
can
you
crush the
take
safeties, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you're revisiting, much the same conversation as Woodson and
Oh God, James Washington, Thomas
no, no,
Everett.
not James
Oh my
Washington.
God, yes.
No, not James Washington.
Ray
The big
Horton,
thumper, Roy Williams. Roy Williams.
Roy Williams.
Mi-
Yeah,
Yeah, I,
yes.
th- I think you're looking at a situation like that.
It's
You know,
exactly the same
yeah,
situation in
yeah,
Philadelphia and here.
correct. So
Yeah, it's the same
yeah,
situation.
so to your question, I 100% do that if that scenario. And funky thing about the draft is, it's such a, people come, with their, their projections and what have you. It's a
The
dice roll.
crapshoot. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, when you think about how CeeDee Lamb ended up in the Cowboys' lap at 17, nobody saw that shit coming. He's like, wait a minute. What? Because, I mean, he wasn't even on anybody's board, but he happens to be there. So
What
it's
a
one of those really
blessing.
exciting
Yeah.
times. But, what Dallas has to be careful of is they can't be, you know, ooh, here's the shiny object guy. They've got to stay the course in identifying and filling need, much like the Philadelphia Eagles did. Because if you remember the collapse of 2 years ago, the defensive collapse, they went out in the
Yeah.
next draft and took care of every single deficiency they had via free agency and the draft. Then you hit the big home run with Saquon, and you go and win the Super Bowl. Dallas
And he did the shit again
needs a
this
move
past
like
year.
that. I'm
They
sorry.
did the shit again this past year. Handling
Correct.
business.
Yeah.
The way
So,
they get down.
what gives you pause is who's actually making those calls. So it'll be very interesting to see, as we seemingly tonight set the table, which promises to be a very eventful and very interesting offseason as it pertains to how do the Dallas Cowboys recover from what was a Old Testament level bad defense in 25 and fix this thing going into 26. Yeah, I mean, it was literally
Let my
Egypt
people
versus
go.
it was Egypt versus the Red Sea. I mean, that one wasn't close. So, yeah. So, man, Joe, you got any final thoughts, man, before we sign off?
Man, I agree 100%. Again, this is and it's kind of it's a better position to be in than searching for cohesion. Okay.
Good point.
It's like, geez, we need a quarterback. We can,
Yep.
be the fucking Giants and get back to me. Like, we need an every
Correct.
down ball carrier. We like Tracy, but we really need a tight end. And, Neighbors is hurt, and we don't know about Dart. I mean, you're not looking for offensive cohesion. You may have adjustments you need to make on your offensive line.
Correct.
This thing is about defense. And we
It
have
is.
talked about it on this show relentlessly. It's plug and play. Get me some dogs.
Yeah.
Get me
It's
some
identifying
dogs.
talent.
And so that's why we said, like, if you sign Blankenship, all right, and Downs is there, you take him. These guys
100%.
are both going to be on the field in your nickel and your dime and your base.
100%.
Put them out there. I want good guys. I'm trying to win. I do that with good guys, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll leave it at that. And again, there's and I think DB would agree. We got a ways to go to fix this thing. It's going to take an infusion. It's going to take a real infusion. Infusion. Free agent, draft, or whatever.
Sir.
Gentlemen, before we go, I want to give another shot at running Joey's video. I think we got the technology problem solved. And I'm not going to wait 3 minutes to check with you. So, let me know right off the top if you can hear it or not. I'm sorry to the audience. I apologize for testing tech live. But I'm a geek with this stuff and should have had it ready to go. Without further ado, let's bring it to you, Joey Flos's "Let's Get It" music video starring our man DB, Darren.
Thank you, DB.
Throw 'em up and let's get it.
Looks like we got audio.
Bust a nut and let's get it. Run a market, let's get it. Pop the truck and let's get it. Business up real bad. I wanted to speak like a nomad. The story's the same what I know bad. Homeless, jail, toe tag. He got on me, I caught no flag. Got it and put it down with that toe drag. Got a pen, put it down on a notepad. .com every hit like I'm GoDad. Clickbait say that I get paid when you listen to no division and commission and no decision. The revision, it is what it is. I say that it is. And then somebody said I was missing. They said I was dead. Now I am risen. Like Aerosmith dipping the robber, like Pippin the thug on the mic off the wiles to tipping. It ain't that I'm tripping. I'm that I'm sipping the bear, giving and taking ass whippings. So light it up and let's get it. Toss it up and let's get it. Take the bump and let's get it. Touch them up and let's get it. Drop the puck and let's get it. Buckle up and let's get it. Get up in there, let's get it. Break it down, let's get it. I don't like going in. I don't know how I'm going out of win. But I wish I got off the pen. I even looked to try to make amends. I even took the time to count to 10. But the hook of that light was pulling me back in. Most of the block is not gentrified. I'ma play cool but not let it slide. I'ma stay true, not gon' run and hide. I'ma break through to that other side. You coming country, chicken fried. Shit is all funny until the ride. That ain't just the money, it's fucking pride. But when I get bloody, go back to your hood and get laid by your wife. I'ma stay focused on me for this life. So light it up and let's get it. Toss it up and let's get it. Take the bump and let's get it. Touch them up and let's get it. Drop the puck and let's get it. Buckle up and let's get it. Get up in there, let's get it. Break it down, let's get it. Get in there, refill the arena. Keep them up with your death with tequila. So rich and fairy into my marina. I'm so rich I don't even carry a Nina. With COVID exploded, I'm molded my villa. Loaded with soldiers and proper gorillas. No one allowed it without high level clearance. Came out with it and did no different appearance. Some power still spilling out high dollar spirits. Counting and spending with no interference. Step to the plate and get stakes in the mash. Just swing episodes every day and get action. Hot off the corner of a field in my city wheel. The feeling heavy when I'm in the building. I can jump, I can stroke, I can catch, throw and run. I got pop tools, most don't even got one.
What?
So light it up and let's get it. Toss it up and let's get it. Take the bump and let's get it. Touch them up and let's get it. Drop the puck and let's get it. Buckle up and let's get it. Get up in there, let's get it. Break it down, let's get it.
Hey yo, that bass, DB, the bass, that was being a Laker Park, right? You heard me? Or Zen. That was like pulling up in a Mustang at Penn Relays and driving that bass. You heard me? Right?
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like the way you made that bass sound, man, was dope. I really appreciate that. I had a blast shooting, and thanks to DB for coming out. You know, DB was he was the muscle in that. You know, there's a little story attached to the whole thing. You know, DB's the muscle. You know, he's 6'5", 2.25, and then we got my man Tim, who's kind of the mover and shaker behind the scenes. But you know, it's a cross promotion, and I was glad to be able to do it. I love rap. I've been writing raps for 38 years, and I just wanted to put it out there and enjoy it and have fun. And again, thanks to DB for coming out and showing up. And Zen, thank you and Straight No Chaser for letting me live up in this mix and helping me to kind of put that out there, man. So thank y'all very, very much.
Absolutely.
Safe to say we love you, man. Safe to say we love you.
Thank you. I love y'all too. No homo.
100%. 100%. Well, man, this has been one hell of a show. This has been one hell of a ride tonight. I think we laid out some really good foundational groundwork to solve the Cowboys' problems, which is what the hell we do on this show. You can bet, like the late great Don Cornelius would say, you can bet your last money. It's all a stone gas, honey. We'll definitely be back with another episode of the Straight No Chaser Cowboy podcast. For my man Hoop Jargon, for my man Joey Flosser, I'm your man D Brown, the OG, and we are out. Peace and go Cowboys.